Hello everybody, and welcome to my clutter room in my corner of the creational cosmos. My name is Kevin Smith, and I have a few things to share with you. The journey to the ears certainly is a long and arduous one. One must get through all of creation and the personal self. I suppose it is only as long and arduous as an individual chooses to make it so. For that which prevents recognition of the true reality and how to stand with it is in fact the personal self and all that it comprises of. The personal self is layered upon layered with ideas, agreements and attachments, festooned with tap lines, in other words. As an individual goes through the endless lifetimes, the endless created experiences, through the cause and effect creational mechanics that make experiences possible, quite the database of causal files and references will be collated. Generally, these experiences are filed away with the ideas, the thoughts that we applied to them, with additional emotion thrown in. We might call these experiences then emotionally charged. With no awareness or connection with the real self, it is unsurprising that the personal self is unable to be objective in the face of generated experience. The mental and astral faculties will come forth and colour the experience. Without objectivity, then, we will be less able to recognize what the experience is demonstrating, that regardless of the experience's nature, it is one more creational reference that we can use to recognize the is by, as we come to appreciate that everything in creation is not the is. And to recognize the is, the only way this can be done effectively is to know what it is not. Without the awareness of the gems of potential is recognition through comparison that each experience represents, the personal self will walk into each experience, paying little attention to the details, and that which does grasp its attention will be layered down with additional thought and emotion and filed away in the causal vehicle. The individual that believes their created personal vehicle to be them, rather than that which affords experience to recognize who they really are, will be unconscious to the creational cause and effect process. They will be oblivious of how what they have created, ideas and the agreement to ideas, be they theirs or others, forge their continual experience. They will continue to unconsciously walk through lifetimes in this manner, unconsciously forging their next experience, unconsciously projecting into future lifetimes, as they continue to create, as they chase the thrills, seek the goals, and agree with what on the surface looks very good, but as overall deteriorating experience would indicate, the general agreed to mass ideas are anything but. All these lifetimes of agreement, all these created ideas, all the emotion and thoughts, every time an idea is created or agreed with, will result in the effect, the experience, and what seems to be the passage of time rolls on, for time is just cause and effect on the physical life level. As individuals go through their created experiences, their created consciousness is forged. The attitudes and personality they decide for themselves, generally selected as the best choice as it pertains to survival of whatever situations the individual decides and activates through ideas. The created consciousness is the personal self, as it currently is, the culmination of all it has experienced, from first entering the creational simulator. We surely are the product of our environments, and are adapted to them accordingly, but it is an environment we have created, or helped to collectively create through the agreement and creation to the ideas that made it so. Everything then becomes very layered. The more lifetimes that pass by, the more agreements, attachments that are made, that culminate in the individual's current circumstances. Agreement to a religious idea, for example, which is agreement to control and restriction, an agreement then which, in light of its awareness restricting nature, will add to the consequent experience of restriction and demise, may have been formed thousands of lifetimes ago, but nevertheless there it remains, and unless released will be a factor in the moulding of the individual's experience thousands of years later. And so all these layered agreements to ideas of restriction will be lurking in every individual's causal vehicle, reinforced through the ages, especially subliminally, and with the advent of technology for better subliminal delivery. For perhaps once upon a time the subliminals would be more in the form of symbols carved into rock, relics and statues, symbols that represented control, whereas now such things can be transmitted into the subconscious through televisions, below the threshold of the literal senses. Regardless, every unconscious individual will be quite the mishmash of agreement and tap lines that bind them to creation, as they will be forever the effect of these agreements, these ideas and tap lines, until they become conscious of the cause and effect nature of the simulator, and seek to get a handle on their experience generating 5 vehicles, and then move to release the tap lines of agreements. This wouldn't be such an issue were it not for the overall nature of the agreements, which are very apparent as everyday overall experience, a creational demise, reflecting the ideas of restriction and control. But help is at hand. The new wave is here and in creation. Created consciousness is such overall that the ears can feature in this particular creational simulator at this moment in what we call time, with the individual best suited for the task of bringing it through, the one with the awareness to do so, and the willingness. Duane Hepner, the new man. Backed by the real universal guides, who are providing the opportunity for whoever is ready to recognize their real awareness and real intent. Everyone's real intent being, of course, the acknowledging of why they are in creation, to utilize the experiences generated within it, to recognize the ease through comparison, and ultimately assume a real position with the all is, to stand real, and assume what we call universal positioning. A small window then, according to agreement, and as agreement and overall decision is subject to constant change, this window can be very temporary, in accordance with the detracting of agreement that would make the presence of the ears absent once again in the creational simulator, or at least absent the new presentation, or any presentation that has the task of presenting the ease. And if agreement is maintained with ideas of control and restriction, creational circumstances will continue to deteriorate as the experiential effect, and if taken to a conclusion, the ultimate effect will be the implosion of creation altogether. The new you song is the connection to the ears, and the process of awareness can begin. The real guides will be able to assist the individual, as they cannot without the agreement that the singing of the new you also demonstrates. The new you song and the guides can then remove all the tap lines we have amassed over all our lifetimes, based on our willingness, our agreement to release them all, and through a gradual focus and recognition of the ears, helped vastly via our real side guide provided experiences, we can extricate ourselves from the simulator. It's all about awareness. That's why we are here, to become more aware and recognize and stand real with the guides and the ears. And now I'd like to read a new article by Duane the Great Writer. Your Real Intent by Duane the Great Writer. Through all that I have been through, I can see that most people do not understand or recognize their real intent. This is understandable, because your real intent is invisible to your 5 senses, and the 5 bodies that you, the real you, operates. Socially bred people for human farming on this planet Earth are taught to focus on their emotions and mind, and in this way they can be easily controlled and manipulated for harvesting by the invented systems of politics, religion, spiritual, education, and science. Socially bred people do understand something about their social behaviour, such as how to shop, eat, party, work, pollute, poison, and agree to being controlled by abusive authorities. This is the average lifestyle of the normal person on this planet Earth, until a person recognizes their real intent. They will stay a slave to the invented systems of demise. From all that has taken place on this world, it would seem that everything looks to be kind of normal. But what is normal? Each person decides their fate and destiny in cause and effect creation, which is their karmic lifetimes, until they are ready to wake up all the way from the matrix of creation and the authorities who rule with restrictions and unawareness. Sound good ideas are not your real intent, as the authorities always fool people into thinking this is so. Pretty political words and ancient wisdom are only nicely wrapped ideas, and marketed to look good for the unaware masses to agree to. There is so much more to all life than just floating ideas in the literal minds and emotional bodies of the self-convinced, unaware people who have been bred to agree to deception and distortions. Duane Eva, the new wave is, with Rebazar and the real guides. Ask Kelsey and Henry and Eric and Val on Facebook. www.turfclub.club www.wonderfulworldwideeducators.com. And I will leave it there today. And I thank you all for listening. And I will finish with the New You song. New You.